Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to Brother Earth Healing. Today, we're going to be reading into our water energy, reading for water signs as well for the end of July, and kind of doing a bit of a end of the month review and wrap up as we exit the month. Very nice to have you. Thank you so much for all the love and support as this is the end of our second month on YouTube. And it's been a real joy. I'd like to just kind of get into it a little bit today. So feel free to also follow me on Instagram as well at Brother Earth Healing. To give a little bit of a background, I am an intuitive healer, and I've also been formally trained to do mediumship work, as well as receive formal training as a Buddhist monk in a Zen tradition. So that's a little bit about my background and foundation. I will be reading intuitively with you guys today, and really what I'm doing is channeling messages through and kind of confirming through cards, basically. So it's quite different than maybe other tarot channels, and it's gonna take you guys through it a little bit, maybe more slowly as well than some other readers. So with that, thank you again so much, and we're gonna get into it with a little bit of breathing, kind of getting us into the space and offering some gratitude before we get started. So I invite you to just settle, coming back to the breath, maybe taking a couple nice big breaths. And we'll ask the mind to just put aside whatever might be preoccupying us. Really allowing ourselves to just rest in the mind, as well as rest in our emotional body. And I'll offer a little bit of energy right now, and we'll just also set this intention for ourselves to be open to what we need to receive today, and knowing that whatever we're resonating with is what we need, something to help us, something to that will serve us. And whatever doesn't resonate, we don't have to worry about too much. Great. Beautiful, beautiful. So I'd like to offer thanks, big gratitude and love and appreciation for ancestors, blood ancestors, as well as ancestors and teachers from our spiritual heritage. A lot of gratitude for always being there and for supporting us on the path. And I'd like to ask for more support in offering messages of healing and love and guidance for us during these crazy times. Thank you so much. So that will be good for now. Okay, I was feeling a lot today. I feel like what we're feeling is a lot, and as I've mentioned in other videos, even some of the ones that were some of the first videos that I made here last month on YouTube, just really picking up on the fact that we're all experiencing something that's very, very collective, like very much collective, right? So we're being assisted in experiencing together, what is occurring, so that we can really relate to each other and find a place of compassion for one another, because we understand what the experiences are collectively. Okay. And what I was picking up on with the air video yesterday for the end of the month was that, it's just been a crazy month, especially the past couple weeks have been really nuts. And so I'm feeling particularly for water signs and people that have a lot of water in their chart, or just resonating with that right now, with the water within. Really, being very carried away with what's going on emotionally, like really affected by what's going on Yeah. And so there's this real rocking, right? And a real difficulty getting the mind to settle. Okay, let's see what our first card out is. Okay, Eight of Swords, yeah. Still trying to get this down so you guys can like see the whole card. I think I've been doing a pretty good job, but okay, let me see. It's helping me understand a little bit about what's going on right now. I'm gonna pull more cards so I can have a little bit more of a bigger picture. I think that was a very I think that's a very direct message, though. Yeah, very clearly feeling. Okay, I'm feeling to pull this out. I'm feeling to pull this out as well. We'll put this here, and I'm also kind of feeling to pull this out too, right here. And then we have our overall. Okay. Okay. Okay, so here's our overall bottom of the deck feeling for what's going on as we leave, as we exit this month. Okay. Justice, right? Okay, and for some, I feel that there's a real clarity in seeing that even though things, yeah, might appear very chaotic and feel very chaotic, that there is a real sense of also things balancing out, okay? And for others, I feel for you that there's just a real craving for the justice or for the balance, right? And not seeing it as clearly. In both cases, whichever one you resonate more with, maybe, I feel like there is certainly something holding you or binding you. And it's cool, like, when you're able to be, like, in that place where you do feel kind of bound and a little icky and, like, part of you really wishes you weren't experiencing that. But at the same time, you have really done a lot of work and are clear enough, we're able to enter, a space, every now and again that's very clear, that reminds you, that really reminds you that, it's all part of it. And in that way, like, you identify more with the flow, right? You identify more with the bird's eye view, as opposed to, your own specific personal experience, the experience of the ego, right? Of the personhood. Yeah, and are just kind of able to see in a more broad way that's beyond that. And so that's really great. I feel like a lot of folks, I feel like I would actually even just say everyone right now is being yeah, sort of tested. Like, we're having these little tests and trials here and there that are really helping us see where we are and what we are really capable of. And I think for many, we're experiencing a really beautiful sense of expansion and a beautiful sense of, like, wow, I can't believe I'm in a place where I can really move through this so as gracefully as I have been, and so that's really great. Yeah, I see that as being the main, the bulk of the folks that I'm reading for right now that are probably tuning in or will tune in the future. And certainly if this is not exactly what you're experiencing right now, we're working with energy, and it's not, it might not be happening right now for you, and it could be a year from now. I tend to resonate with a lot of other readers that say, you know, especially when you're watching a video like this on YouTube or whatever, that, you know, whenever you land on the video or kind of feel like, you know, oh, you know, that looks cool, even though that was like a little while ago or a year ago or a few years ago, that, you know, will resonate. So just go based on how you feel and let that feeling guide you. And if not, there's, you know, I have plenty of other videos up that have been really, really juicy. I would actually really recommend you check out particularly the fire sign episode for the end of June that I did. That was really, really potent stuff there. Really amazing stuff coming through for sure. So I'm going to continue here. I feel at the base of all of this situation, okay, before I go into that, I feel like this Eight of Swords kind of energy is certainly like the mind, right? The bindings of the mind. And for others, I feel like it's a more physical, feeling more physically bound, whether that's by location or having to do with housing. I feel for maybe one or some really strongly having to do with jobs and yeah, feeling very bound to a job, maybe working like a service industry job where you're like, oh man, I really don't want to be interacting with this many people, you know, and I completely get that. So let's continue. So this justice, right? Whether or not you're able to see the balance, whether or not it's apparent or obvious, or the balancing, right? The coming into balance is what I feel, right? I feel like there's a real need to put down our, to stop attacking, to stop the attack. I feel like that's strong. That's an important message, to really kind of put down our weapons a little bit, right? To, yeah, be able to kind of really see more clearly. I'm seeing some really beautiful imagery here, so you can see this. And then we have, this is kind of at the bottom of our spread here, kind of another kind of like underlying aspect of what we're experiencing, the Hermit. I love this deck. This deck is so nice. I didn't resonate with this deck so strongly. This is the Herbal Tarot deck. I didn't resonate with it so strongly when I first got it. And this was the first deck I've ever owned, actually. And then I got a Rider deck and I was immediately like drawn to that. But I feel like I've been more drawn to using this more recently. And maybe a reason why I'm saying that is because of this need to, you know, this suggestion and advice to put down our attacking mindset, our mindset of judgment. And that's, you know, the mindset and the energy that's on the offense, right? And kind of coming back to heal and take care of what's here, right? So it's like, and this feels like a very earthy approach to me, right? Like really tending to your own internal garden, right? Your own internal landscape, right? Really stewarding what's going on internally. And that also helps us to really feel a lot more stable and check in on our foundation. Like what is our foundation looking like, you know, and feeling like? Because that is what informs our thoughts, our actions, you know, everything, our energy, how we relate to others, and how we relate to ourselves. I feel like somebody is having a hard time relating to themselves or going through a lot of shifts that's making it hard to like grasp their own, or hard to like continue to identify with their own personhood or ego, or how they have known themselves in the past. And are really like, there's this beautiful light that's coming through, trying to show you your inner beauty that's pure and has less attachments, right? Has less attachments, particularly to how we view ourselves, you know, and who we believe we are, you know. For some, I think that you are doing this consciously for yourself, or on that path of self-realization and self-discovery. And I feel like this is a big theme for everyone right now, whether that's recognized or not. But I feel like it's the herb is like licorice, right? And so I was just seeing that what the herb was on, because each card has like an herb associated with it, which is really cool, or a spice or something. And so what I'm feeling is like, what I was hearing was like bitter, right? Like I thought immediately like black licorice, right? Like the pure licorice, right? So I'm feeling like this is a very like bittersweet kind of thing. Like we want to go towards that light, and we do, like we crave it, like our being craves it, even if, like, you know, we don't recognize it as what is happening, right? But there's a part of us that's still very, you know, I'm really seeing him caught up in the, you know, kind of in that foliage, like almost like the way I'm interpreting and seeing it right now is that it's trying to grab him, right, and hold on to the identity, right, that we've created and constructed. And I feel like, yeah, and I feel like that's put us in a place. I feel like that's been a theme for you, whether you recognize it or not. And taking a look at what's happened in your life recently and things that you've been thinking, and even saying them out loud or sharing them with others really helps us to see, you know, in a more, a more whole way. And so I'm feeling like this kind of attachment, which is really what it is. It's an attachment and grasping to what is familiar. And that is I'm feeling that this is in many, many cases in your life, in our lives, right? Really clinging to what's familiar when that is just completely not what's happening right now. Like we're totally being ripped away from everything that's familiar and being forced to look at a more broad reality. This one's really cool. Kelp, Hanged Man. Okay. I feel like there's some level of protection happening. There's some level of wanting to protect ourselves, or some force acting to protect us, so that to help us process what is happening at a pace where that's digestible. Okay, that's what I'm hearing. Wow, y'all are really having a difficult time. It feels like a tornado of thoughts and emotions that are really tugging, like really holding strong. Difficult to find that space in your mind, that spaciousness, right? That deep quiet. And that is and ironically, that's kind of what we need right now. That is what's really going to help us, not only to just kind of alleviate the temporary discomfort and suffering that's occurring, that's passing through right now strongly, but also in helping us with our inaction, with our with and also with positive action, and informing that what is the right way to, where is the right way to turn and to go, to take steps towards. Okay. I'm feeling like for most of you, it would be very, very helpful to seek advice and support. Yeah. And for those of you that are feeling more in the group, you know, that I was kind of sharing earlier about feeling like you really kind of do see what's going on clearly, even though you're kind of in the thick of it. To still not feel, you know, not allow your ego to tell you, oh, you got this, you know, whatever. and to not stray, do your best not to stray and go too far away from your practices that have helped you to have that clarity and stability, and to hold them near still, to really, really hold near and dear, your practices, your communities that are supportive, people in your life that are supportive, and particularly mentors. I'm getting that strongly, like really, 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 like it's a good time to reach out, and to ask for that support. Because for some, I feel like it's really snowballed to the point where there's even a tighter bind, right? And more of this victim mentality for many, and I'm being kind of guided to also share that, even if you do kind of fall into this category of more like, seeing what's going on clearly, if what is happening with you is really, taking you away from your practice and away from where you would like to be, yeah, like it's not always about just like being the bystander, right? And just seeing, we also have this really amazing, precious, inherent ability to create, and to and to manifest, and like, yeah, to create. So, and this is a big lesson, I think, for a lot of us right now, is how to do that in a way that's, graceful and also allowing of what we're experiencing, right? And for some, I feel like they've kind of like allowed themselves to be a little bit complacent, right? And now it's kind of like suffering, kind of like, yeah, suffering for it, right? A little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like I feel like there's some ego in there, certainly. I feel like there's some ego in there, like, oh, I got this, like, it's all good. Like, I'll just see and have my clarity, and that'll be fine. And it's like, there's no harm that will come to you for also, continuing to nourish yourself. I feel like it's the nourishment that's lacking, is what I really feel, actually. I feel like it's the nourishment that's lacking. Okay. I feel for some, especially if you're really like, oh man, I don't know how much longer I can do this. This is like really not, yeah, this is not great. I'm really not feeling this. And this is also what I felt strongly in the air reading, which now I'm realizing this is another one of these collective experiences, collective messages for all of us, regardless of sign, is that I'm feeling a really, really truly like, seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. There's a really bright light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm feeling like towards the end of, as we approach the end of this month and come to the end of this month, possibly see it, possibly have that, and like a real breakthrough is what I was actually feeling for air signs. For water signs, I'm feeling more, it's feeling more of like a calming, of what's like, more of a calming and a clarity coming through. Okay. Yeah. Hmm. I'm also being guided to share about, like really coming back to our roots. Our roots, and what I mean by that, in when I'm right now, is that coming back to our humanity and connecting each other through this link of, being human, right? Coming back to our roots and being deeply connected, like coming to a place of feeling deeply connected with others, regardless of, you know, like whatever skin color or, race, or, language or culture, it's like really coming into like a practice, right? A practice of connecting, and beginning to truly see others as family, which is what I preach. That's my thing. That's the message that wants to come through me really strongly. Is this message of family, right? Like all family, knowing, yeah. And I've had some really deep revelations, more recently, in this area, like coming through really strongly about, which I'll make some other videos up on Instagram about that. I'm planning to do smaller things on Instagram. And what came through more recently was about, like, if you knew how connected you were with others, and if you truly knew that what that relationship is to others, to other people, truly as siblings, as a brother or sister, like, we wouldn't, if people knew that, really truly knew that, it would be impossible to bring harm to one another, and I truly believe, like, this is a very important key for us, for us to really help us make a shift in consciousness, a big shift in consciousness, becoming aware of our true relationship with one another, and with all of life, truly, right? Yeah. Like, how tragic is it, like, like, really, like a brother killing his brother, right? Like, how tragic is that, and yeah. So anyway, yeah, that was a really strong thing that was coming through recently. And I'm also being guided to share also this past few days and week, another thing that was coming through really strongly, which I feel like is there's a space to hear it right now, is that, like, through our connection, yeah, we begin to see the roles we play, and how we play them, and sort of taking those a little bit more lightly, right? So that, kind of like what we're sharing here, right? Taking those a little bit more lightly so that we can step into a more open identity that, that allows us to step into an identity, of being of a more whole human experience, and, and into that family, right? Really allowing us to step into that big family, by being a little bit lighter with the roles that we play. Okay, so I'm going to leave that there for now. There's much more that wants to come through, but I'm going to be mindful of the time as well. And so this is kind of our looking into, I'm reading this as what's, looking into the energy for the beginning of next month. End of this month, beginning of next month. This is kind of near future is what I'm feeling. In my day job, I work with adults with developmental and physical disabilities, and right now my group is reading, like, Lord of the Rings with them, And it just reminded me of like that, like seeing like the fairies, you know? And I've been getting this really beautiful, whimsical energy. Like we actually were reading Harry Potter with them before. And like since we started this reading thing, we've thought about like what would be fun, right? And the energy is so like magical, right? Just like just total magic, and you know, the creative aspect, right? That the what the juice, right? What that does is really like activates that creativity. Wow, like this, somebody created a whole world, you know, and it doesn't just feel like it's in the mind, right? It's something that we feel we can really relate to and taste and savor those worlds that people have created in books or writing or films, right? And you know, and it almost, it's like this childlike wonder, right? Of like, wow, maybe something like this does exist. Why do I resonate with this so strongly? You know, why am I so attracted to this? And and I think that why I'm feeling that right now from this card is because also as a bit of like advice and guidance, you know, like when we're feeling really stuck and in one place and unable to kind of shake ourselves loose, it's this whimsical, magical, like really creative juice, you know, allowing that, like feeding that and allowing that to flow, right? So go like read some Lord of the Rings or something, like, or I don't know, like look up, what I like to do is like look up art, like either fan art for like high fantasy stuff, which I'm really into, or like yeah, just whatever, right? Like angel art, or whatever, you know. And allow a little bit of that magic to help feed you, right? And it doesn't have to be something that's like, you know, fantasy like that. It's like whatever really gets that going for you. And like for me, that also comes really strongly through music, because I play music, and I've been getting really into like harp music and like orchestral harp, and like um, you know, even like a lot of like traditional and folk music from around the world really does that for me. It really like puts me in a really whimsical and creative, magical space. And so yeah, if you resonate with that, which I think everyone does probably, I think that that's really the suggestion and the advice. And as I've been saying for pretty much in every single video like I've made so far here, you know, and with a lot of people, most people that I work with, you know, we all have a lot of spiritual support and guides around us, whether we're aware of that or not. And yeah, I just, you know, I feel that because they're around me, because I work with them consciously, and um, and also, you know, by tuning in with me here too, you know, like I give a little bit of energy when I do our breathing in the beginning, and throughout it, like they're here, like, you know, um, with their energy. And you know, for some, you know, and when I do channeling and stuff, you know, in many ways, like it's not about the words, you know, it's really not about the words and the ideas. It's a lot more about the energy and that exchange, and getting to know what that energy is and feeling it and bringing it in, right? And that's in many ways what that creative element does for us, right? Is it really allows us to feel like there's magic everywhere and the possibilities, and it opens us up to a whole new realm of possibility, um, art and music, and all of that, right? And it also just makes us happy, right? Like just, yeah, be happy, man. Be happy, guys. Um, yeah, I feel like a lot of love coming through. Whoever's maybe resonating really strongly with this, I feel like a guide or blood ancestry coming through. Like just, I love you, like a lot of love. And so I'm sharing that with all of you, and whoever's maybe feeling that also. Like there's definitely some other folks around. I'd like to pull from my angels and ancestors oracle deck, and we'll see if there's any other messages to close us up here. for guidance, I'm just going to take these 3. These are great. Heck yeah. Does anything else want to come out? I think that's good. I think that's more than enough. Okay. Okay, I got this card for the last... I got all these cards for the last one. You didn't shuffle too well here. But I'm feeling like showing you guys this anyway, really. This is being open to healing information. And I associate this card really strongly with one of my... teachers, I guess, I work with, which is Archangel Gabriel. And he is the first teacher that I've channeled, when I began channeling. And I always see him as with green. A lot of people associated him with like white light and things like that. I've always from the beginning seen green and associated that with him. And yeah, like just like I feel like you're like, yeah, like the information and the healing and the medicine, right, for your situation, the medicine is really coming to you and is really there and available for you. And so it's about being open to it and hearing those messages, right? And if it's hard to do that, just ask. Like, I'd really like to hear these. Please help me, you know, and I'd really like some support. Please help me. Like, even if we don't know who we're asking, or we're just, you know, putting it out there, you know, and just, you know, seeing what happens and experimenting, you know. I would really recommend trying that. And what really has helped me and what I always recommend is saying things out loud and really putting it out there vibrationally. So for whoever I was feeling like this love, like I love you, I was hearing that I love you, I love you, I love you. Like I was feeling like some serious like ancestral stuff going on there. I wasn't feeling like, yeah, and this kind of confirms it, like wasn't feeling necessarily human, or like in that inhuman form now. So, yeah, however that resonates with you. I have more recently in doing one-on-one sessions with people, doing tarot and stuff like that, and intuitive work with people, have really come into doing the work of helping people connect with their guides and yeah, kind of develop those relationships and offering tools, a tool set to help people do that and begin to connect. So if you're called to do that, I would be super, super happy to work with you. And I have a sliding scale, I guess, payment kind of thing right now, because I know a lot of people are going through it, really going through it. And I always want to make everything I do super accessible. I do a lot of other free things as well online. For instance, actually the Saturday, short plug, I'm going to be teaching a Qigong class and also doing like an open community sending energy with a friend of mine, a good friend of mine. So if you're interested, please feel free to reach out or comment, and I will give you that information. You can reach out to me through Instagram too. So we'll just finish up and close up here. I'm feeling like this is speaking more to like tapping into like, yeah, the creative, you know, unafraid, unapologetic you within you, the you know, putting down some of the roles that keep you from that, or some of the patterns in the mind, or whatever, some of the role patterns, yeah, something about those, you know, and leaning into that you and unleashing it, allowing it. That's the word, allowing you to just come through and not caring one little bit what anybody thinks about that, you know, and just starting by what you resonate with. Start with what you resonate with. Just go for it. Like explore and let that creativity within you like flourish and help you to bloom, right? Okay, and seeing beyond the current situation. Yeah. I think for me, what I'm feeling here is an element of trust. I feel like there's an element of trusting yourself and what you feel and know your experience to be. For those of you that do feel like you have that clarity of, you know, being aware of your experience. and not being exactly, you know, so stuck in it. And allowing the little signs here and there, like with me sharing with you now, like to, you know, allowing that confirmation to you know, for yourself to trust that confirmation, right? But I think this is also speaking for those of you that are also on a path of like wanting to do this kind of work as well. Yeah, and if you are and resonate with what I'm doing, I am beginning to mentor as well. I've had some really, yeah, really, really beautiful teachers, very elder teachers who are mediums and healers, as well as like, you know, very senior Buddhist monks and teachers, spiritual teachers from different traditions, not just Buddhist ones. So I'm actually, yeah, so I'm beginning to come into that work as well, and mentorship. Yeah, I think we're just gonna close there. Yeah, a lot of beautiful stuff as usual coming out. And I would really again recommend you to go check out some of the other videos I've put out, even though they were last month. So there was some really, really potent stuff going on. Yeah, both last month and this month. So just, yeah, big thanks. Thank you for tuning in, especially if you stayed till the end. I know my videos tend to be a little bit long. Yeah, but again, if you'd like to support me, I'd love, or like the video, yeah, just drop a like down there. It was supportive and helpful, and feel free to leave me a comment, just say hi, or if you have any questions or anything like that, I'd be more than happy to like reach out and get back to you in a comment. And just like meeting the community, meeting all of you guys is so nice. So, you know, just say hi, and yeah, it'd be super cool. And again, if you're interested in working with me privately, feel free to reach out through Instagram or whatever, and we'll get something going. I also do like healing work. So I do like, yeah, right now it's distance healing. Yeah, again, thank you so much. Many, many blessings to you, and we'll see you in the next one.